Hey everybody, just another article that I found that I really want to share. Scientists using the James Webb Telescope have just made a record-breaking discovery. They've observed the earliest known supernova, a massive star explosion, kind of been talking about supernova here for the last few days, it's ever seen by humans. The supernova exploded when the universe was only 730 million years old. That's roughly 5% of its current age. The universe is about 13.8 billion. This occurred at about 730 million years. That kind of find is huge because supernova help astronomers understand how the first stars and eventually galaxies formed and evolved within our universe. So back in March, on March 14th, news of a gamma ray burst from a very distant source came from the SVOM mission. That's the space-based multi-band astronomical variable objects monitor. It's a Franco-Chinese telescope that launched in 2024 and was designed to detect very fleeting events that are far out there. Within an hour and a half, NASA's Swift Observatory pinpointed the X-ray source's location in the sky. That's kind of what Swift does. And that enabled subsequent observations that would pin down the distance for Webb. 11 hours later, the Nordic Optical Telescope on the Canary Islands was queued up and revealed an infrared light gamma ray burst afterglow, an indication that a gamma ray burst might have been associated with this very distant object. Then 4 hours after that, the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in Chile estimated the object existed 730 million years after the Big Bang. There are only a handful of gamma ray bursts in the last 50 years that have been detected in the first billion years of the universe. This particular event is very rare. It's very exciting for astronomers. And I think the key point here is if you notice what I just kind of recapped in that part of the article, I talked about it earlier today. A variety of telescopes were used with different types of missions to help get the scientific data needed to make these observations and to link them and tie them together. It allowed astronomers and scientists to be able to use the various data to make this this discovery. On July 1st, Webb turned its gaze toward the spot and it captured near-infrared images. What it saw was clear evidence of a supernova, and for the first time ever at such distance, it got a very faint image of the host galaxy, the galaxy where this star had lived. The previous record holder here for the most distant supernova spotted by Webb was one when the universe was 1.8 billion years old. So this new one is more than twice as old, further back in time. There were a few things that kind of surprised everybody about this. It looked very familiar. You might expect a supernova that was so early in the universe to behave very differently. Stars back then likely had very fewer heavy elements in them and conditions were more primitive. Stars were just forming, the elements were burning within them. They hadn't put out, stars hadn't exploded a supernova and put out a lot of heavier elements. So there was the expectation maybe these would be a little bit different. Actually, what the surprise was, it looks very similar to modern day supernovas. It's the same basic behavior, similar brightness evolution, even though it exploded billions of years ago. That challenges some of the assumptions about how primitive early stars and explosions might have been that people have been thinking in theories and stuff. Another thing was even more groundbreaking was Webb caught the faint glow of the galaxy that hosted this exploding star. To our eyes, it just looked like a tiny red smear, but for astronomers, this is a huge achievement. That gives scientists a peek into what galaxies looked like when the universe was still very, very young, and helping map how galaxies formed, grew, and matured over time. Why it kind of matters is finding the supernova this early helps fill a gap in cosmic history. It gives evidence that massive stars were forming back then and dying when the universe was very young, meaning the processes that build galaxies and stars and eventually planets and life were well underway much earlier than we can directly observe up to this point. With tools like Webb, astronomers now have a way to explore the childhood of the universe, to watch stardust, galaxy bursts, and piece together how we got from the Big Bang to such a rich and structured cosmos. So imagine this: a star explodes when the universe was just basically a baby, only 730 million years old. Sounds like a long time. In cosmic terms, it's very short. Light from that explosion travels across space and time, and now, thanks to Webb, we're seeing it. The flash is a bridge to that distant past, showing us that cosmic drama started very early on and that it might not have really changed a lot since then. As we continue to grow and explore with Webb and future telescopes that are going to come online, we know that scientists and astronomers are going to discover a lot of other things that are going to come out. And that's what's exciting about all this. It increases our knowledge of the universe in which we have our home, and that helps us to make a connection to it. Anyway, just thought I wanted to share that. I've talked about some modern telescopes. I've talked about supernova. Kind of just fits it all together. Have a great night. I hope you have clear skies. Talk to you soon.